bites the kid's arm off.
Bites it
He
off?
bites the kid's arm off. I couldn't believe it. And the kid like turns around, he's like, ah, and he's missing half his goddamn arm.
Oh my goodness.
I couldn't believe it. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, motherfucker. We're gonna take it up a few notches right now. See if y'all can keep up.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to episode 20 of the ScruffCast. I'm Dan.
And I'm John.
And that's it. That was the big change right there, which was a whole lot of nothing and some shouting.
We added a little bit of a pause.
And a little bit of a pause. A little dramatic effect.
That was another pause just for dramatic effect.
There we go. All right. So we're going to jump right into it this week. We have a listener email. And don't worry. We still have that special surprise for you guys later. But just wait it out.
We're kicking things off by going right back to you, listeners.
That's right.
So, we had a listener email us this week, and they said, "Hey, John and Dan, love your show. Started listening about 2 weeks ago and managed to catch up. Just to touch on the topic you talked about last week on whether the NHL, MLB, and such should be co-ed, it made me think about the movie with Amanda Bynes, She's the Man. In the movie, she pretended to be her brother to prove she was as good as the boys at soccer and managed to make it onto the team. Just a random blurb. Personally, I, as a female listener, do not think it should matter, as the women have their own leagues, they are just not as popular."
True.
Fair point.
Yeah. Fair point. I've never seen that movie either, so I'm happy she described it to us.
Yeah.
So I would have had no idea if she said, like that movie, She's the Man. We'd be sitting here like, what?
Yeah.
Who's what man?
Amanda Bynes, I wonder what she's up to these days. I think she went she went off the deep end. She's like crazy.
Oh, did she ever?
Yeah.
She might not even be alive anymore. Who knows?
I don't know. If you're out there and you want to, redeem yourself, build your
Head to the
reputation back
ScruffCast.
up. Yeah, the ScruffCast. You could be our first celebrity interview. We had Anthony on one time, but he's not a celebrity.
Do we want her in the same room with us?
No, you know how in shady neighborhoods there's the glass when you go into a convenience store?
Yeah.
Something like that. We'll set up the plexiglass over there.
Oh,
She'll
yeah.
be on the other side.
A little spit screen or something. Man. We don't want any of that getting close to us.
Anyways, well, if you're out there, you know how to reach us, scruffcast@gmail.com, Amanda, if you want to do a interview. Anyways, the listener goes on to say, "Just curious as to what shows you guys may think are underrated. Look forward to next week's episode," with 3 exclamation points.
Which is this one.
Which is, and you were lucky and got your email read.
Boom.
So, Dan, let me ask you, what shows do you think may be underrated, not getting their due?
I have a few. One of them's New Girl.
Ooh, okay.
See, I don't know how underrated these shows are, but I feel like these aren't shows people talk about as much as, Game of Thrones.
Well, Game of Thrones pretty good.
That's all anything everybody ever talks about. Is that show still on? Game of Thrones?
Game of Thrones, yeah, it's on not a hiatus, but it's going to take longer to produce the final season.
Oh, okay.
So it was should have been coming back this year, but it's going to take longer. So they haven't announced when, but maybe next year.
Gotcha. Yeah. So anyway,
Worth the wait.
New Girl, which I think it's still currently on TV. I think it's in its last season that's on right now. It's with Zooey Deschanel. Have you?
I know of the show, but I've never watched it.
It's actually really funny. It's just goofy and silly. It's funny. And another show, Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Oh, that's a good pick.
It's interesting because it just got canceled this week.
And then got revived.
Yes. The next day. Yeah, have you seen it at all?
I've seen the first 2 seasons.
Oh,
and,
it's so... I
enjoyed it. I just never continued to watch it.
Yeah, that's a really funny show. And then the other one, Sons of Anarchy. I know it's not really underrated because a lot of people watched it, but when you look at all those the HBO shows or the all those the Game of Thrones and Breaking Bad and all that stuff, Sons of Anarchy is always below those, but it's a fantastic show. Everybody should watch it.
I've heard a lot about it, but I've never watched it myself.
It's really good.
So you had a lot of good picks. You had a lot of current shows, things fresh in people's minds.
Give them a bit of everything.
When I'm thinking of things that are underrated, I can't really think of anything that comes to mind that's on the air now. I'm going back. I'm thinking going for the deep cuts. A show I watched as a kid, which I feel does it get its fair due?
I have a show in mind, and if you say this show, I'm going to lose it.
A show I watched as a kid, which I don't think gets its fair due, I doubt it's what you're thinking, is Yu-Gi-Oh!
It's definitely not that.
Everybody out there's like,
What do you mean Yu-Gi-Oh didn't get its fair due? That's all everybody talked about for when you were a kid forever. Everybody had the cards and everything.
Yeah, but what about now? It doesn't hold up. Like,
because we're old now.
No, but people still like Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah,
that's
and
a classic.
Pokemon.
And Pokemon, but like everybody just forgets about Yu-Gi-Oh.
Maybe it deserved to be forgotten about.
I don't think so. I remember I did my elementary school speech in grade 6 about Yu-Gi-Oh. Yu-Gi and the Heart of the Cards. Anyways, that one didn't get its fair due. I remember there was this game show I really liked back in the day called The Mole. I don't know if you've ever heard of this.
Yeah. Anderson Cooper was the host of it.
Yes, that was
a fantastic show.
That was an extremely underrated show. Like, I think it got canceled after a couple seasons. I'm not sure what happened.
It came out like the exact same time
brilliant.
as Survivor. It was like in around the same time as Survivor was coming out. I remember.
So for the listeners out there who never watched it, the concept was it was like a reality game show, right? With 20 contestants or so, and one person on the show wasn't actually a contestant. They worked for the show, and they were the mole.
Yeah.
And then I believe they would do different challenges and stuff, and every week they had to do a vote or something on who they thought was the mole. Yeah. Right? And obviously the mole knew. No, this is what it was. I remember they would ask questions on the thing, and it'd say what color shirt was the mole wearing during the challenge. Because if you think you knew who it was, right, you would remember. Yeah. And then you would, move on or not. And eventually it was just one person in the mole left, right? And it would be exposed on who was the mole. That was a really novel idea for a show.
Yeah, that was a good show.
I sad that one didn't stick around.
Oh, that is a good one.
Yeah.
You know what show I was going to say?
What?
You were thinking for a show when we were kids. Remember Smart Guy?
Oh, man.
Oh, yeah. That was a good show.
Smart guy.
He's a smart guy.
That was from a whole era of shows when you had what was it, Sister to Sister?
Oh, I think it was a little after Sisters. Maybe it wasn't. I don't know. Yeah, I can't remember the timeline. It was late 90s, I think. Yeah. Smart Guy was.
It was
that was a good show.
Yeah, it was a good one. Oh, any more underrated picks?
No, I don't know. I think that's it. I don't think I got anything else. How about you?
No, I just looked up the mole and I was just reading about it, and the thing that comes up for a theme song, according to Google, is the mole theme song. which doesn't really tell you much.
Thanks, Google. Yeah. That helps.
Yeah, apparently had 5 seasons. What a great show. Now I'm just thinking about the mole. They should add that to Netflix.
Yeah, that'd be a good ad. All right, John, are you ready to reveal our episode 20 surprise?
All right, so the listeners who've been with us for a while, and come on, you should have all been with us for a while by now, might remember our 10th episode celebration, which wasn't really much of a celebration. So for episode 20, we're doing something different. We have a special surprise cooked up from a time long ago.
And little do you know, episode 20 surprise may be even worse than episode 10's.
Maybe. So before we started the ScruffCast, we recorded an episode that never made it to air. Now, I don't know if you remember back in the day when they would release those Too Hot for TV Jerry Springer VHS tapes. This is like the ScruffCast Too Hot for Broadcast.
Yeah, this was the first podcast we ever recorded. And we recorded it in my car in a Tim Hortons parking lot. And we must have did the intro about 300 times because we were so nervous. Which we actually have deleted, so it's not even going to be played through this. But
originally, we weren't even going to call the podcast the ScruffCast.
We had a different name for it.
But some jabroni out there had it taken.
It was called Shoot the Shit with Jon and Dan. I don't know if the Jon and Dan part were added on, but...
Eventually
it would have been. But yes, we had to change it anyway, and we never released this one. I don't know why.
But today's your lucky day, because never before revealed, the ScruffCast, episode 0, episode Too Hot for Broadcast,
and episode 20.
And episode 20, all at once.
All at once. And keep in mind, this was recorded October last year, maybe?
Yeah, this is going way back. So the stuff
we're talking about is a little dated, but it's still... It's not bad.
Yeah, we've come a long way, but...
I'm not going to sit here and lie to you guys say it's great. It's because it's not really, but just give it a chance. There's some funny moments in here. And I don't know. We'll play this now, and we'll come back after.
Yeah, we'll catch you on
our
the other
current
side.
selves. Present us will speak after past us has spoken.
All right, get ready for a blast from the past. You know what pisses me off? How much of the plot is given away in movie trailers nowadays.
Yeah, you have a big problem with this, and like I don't have the same problem.
No, it's definitely an issue, I think.
You have such a huge issue of the movie trailers.
I feel
You don't watch them.
I feel like movie trailers exist in a world that's separate from the world that the movie's created in. You're a director, you're making the movie, okay? The screenwriter's written the script, they have an idea of how things are going to go, right? You think like, oh yeah, I'm going to, have some mystery, the bad guy's going to be revealed, we're going to find out. And you're creating the project, and you have the flow in your head. But the movie trailer's cut and edited, it's like this separate entity that's like, take a little peek into what we made.
Yeah, because it's cut and edited to make the most entertaining trailer for the most part, normally. Because that's how they make the most money.
Yeah, I agree. Like, it's like the hype man. It's like, whoa, check it out, right? 2 minutes of footage. Check this out, Red Band trailer.
What is
But
that? What's Red Band?
I think Red Band is where it's like explicit, like
Oh,
like
it's
violent,
like
like
there's
people are getting,
swearing,
like,
maybe.
yeah, swearing and like
Gotta
something
have
like
that 18-year-old
Got chopped
account on
and stuff.
YouTube to get that.
Yeah, parental restrictions.
Yeah.
No, I feel like a 30-second teaser I'm good with. Just enough, a little bit of atmosphere. You have the, creepy soundtrack. You're like, ooh, this piques my interest. What's this? Prometheus? Oh, I'm into this.
Prometheus.
Well, it's just an example. It's, atmospheric.
I guess.
You're like, I'm into this. Say no more. Then you go and you plop down your $12 at the movies and you watch it and you go, that was good. Or you watch it and you go, oh, that was shit. But at least you're not going, that was shit and I knew it was going to happen near the end because I watched the trailer and I saw these people got off the planet.
All the exciting parts were in the trailer. That's always the big complaint. I don't know. I've never put that much thought into movie trailers before. Like, at the same time, I don't like when there's like, movie trailer number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, because fuck, you're at half hour. You're at half hour of movie trailers. I've pretty much seen half the movie already.
If you add it up and you're at like 10 minutes of trailers, that's no bueno. You've done too much.
Yeah, that's way too much trailer. I get that part of it, but I don't know, 2-minute trailer. I don't see the issue. That's my favorite part of going to see movies. Is going to see the trailers for the next movies.
I agree that, like, sometimes that's the way I find out a new movie exists, because if the trailers didn't exist, you wouldn't know about movies until you just see a poster and you're like, oh, that could look kind of cool. But, like, sometimes posters are terrible. Like, there's some bad movie posters out there. But
yeah. I
feel like if the premise is enough to bring you in, then you're just like, I don't need any more. I don't need to see a trailer. Like, an example I can think of is, I love a lot of stuff related to space. So I was like, The Martian. Oh, that sounds like a cool idea for a movie. It's this guy and he's stranded on Mars. You got to try to get back home. Say no more. I'm in.
Yeah.
I don't need to see a trailer. I went to watch The Martian in theaters, and they showed the trailer for The Martian before the movie.
That's a little weird. But how do they interest other people who aren't interested in space? That's their whole thing, right? You can't just have people that are interested in space watching that movie, because that's not going to be enough. So how do you interest other people that have no interest in space? How do you make that movie exciting for them? And that's why they have these trailers.
Yeah, but I think, like, the 30-second teaser, 45 maybe, if it's like, meatier movie, I think is good. 1 minute, that's the danger zone. Once you go past 1 minute, that's too much. Because there's also the problem of, let's say, yeah, wow, this looks really good. Then you're getting excited, and you're like, now I gotta wait.
Yeah, it's like you talked about before, the Spider-Man one. Yes. Not Spider-Man trailer, the Civil War trailer.
Yeah, Captain America 3 Civil War. They they show this trailer and it's like, oh, they're all fighting and stuff, and poof, Spider-Man drops down and he like catches Captain America's shield. And it's like, whoa, Spider-Man's in this movie?
If they held off and just showed him in the movie, had him not in the trailer or anything like that, that would have been unreal. Like that would have been really cool.
That would have been amazing.
Oh my God, Spider-Man's in this movie, no way!
It would have been instantly spoiled if you go on Twitter, right? And people would somehow have GIFs of it already. But,
well, of course, but at least it wouldn't be in the trailer, right? You walk into the movie.
No, but
if you have no idea Spider-Man's going to be in it.
If you manage to avoid it and you go and you sit down, you're like, all right, I'm going to watch Captain America. And then poof, Spider-Man comes out of nowhere. It would have been amazing.
Yeah.
Like, you can't do stuff like that nowadays. Like, back in the day, the movie Seven, which I've never actually seen, but I know of.
Yeah.
They had Kevin Spacey in the movie. His name wasn't even in the credits. So then it was like, whoa, Kevin Spacey, because he's like, you know,
Right.
it's a big deal.
They kind of did that too with Interstellar, with Matt Damon.
Oh, yeah.
They kind of did that, where it was like a little hidden cameo that nobody knew. He's not hidden.
Yeah, that's
but...
pretty good. Like, that's a good example, because you're watching the movie, you're like, oh, okay, you know, they show up here, and then pulls back the cover on this guy. Poof! Whoa, random Matt Damon here. What's going on?
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, he was that asshole in that movie.
See, but those moments where you're pulling that back, like, oh, remember they did that? See, that's a good moment. Didn't get spoiled in the trailers.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I suppose you're right.
And speaking of movies, and relating back to when we were talking about Captain America, I feel like there's too many superhero movies nowadays. It's like one genre that's just exploded in popularity, and now we're drowning in them.
Yeah, I remember a friend of mine, he showed me like a massive list. This is maybe a year or two ago now. Massive list of like, it was like 50 superhero movies they're going to make over the next like 5 years.
Yeah, I remember seeing this. It was like a giant grid. I think actually each company had their own, like Marvel had one and DC had one. And they're like, yeah, these movies are making us so much money. Here's the movies we're making for the next 15 years. And it's like superheroes I've never heard of.
Yeah, I know. Originally, I never heard of Ant-Man. And this is before Ant-Man came out that he was telling me about this. And so I searched it up. And he was like, oh, yeah, Ant-Man's a good thing. So, so I searched it up. I was like, what the hell is Ant-Man? I've never even heard of this. That sounds like the dumbest thing ever. And I saw, like, the little comic thing or whatever. And I still thought, that's the dumbest thing ever. And so he's an ant. Oh, my God, he transforms into an ant and can crawl around places. That's so
man
stupid.
with the power of ants.
Yeah, which I didn't understand, I guess, at the time. But I watched the movie, and it was a good movie. I liked it. I thought it was really good.
It was.
Probably one of the better Marvel movies. Not saying it's not. But another thing they do, too, is, like... Which is also kind of cool. It was like really cool when like Marvel first did it. They made like what did they do? They made Iron Man, they made Thor, and they made Captain America, and then they made Avengers.
Yeah, they brought
so it's
them all
like,
together.
oh my god, yeah, you're bringing them all together in this one movie, which is really cool. And now DC's doing it with Justice League.
Yeah, but they didn't really.
All they've come out with is Wonder Woman though, as far as the movies.
Well, they did Man of Steel, which was just kind of its own isolated movie, and then a couple years later they're like, oh, we're gonna do Man of Steel 2, which was Batman vs Superman, which everybody totally ripped apart, but I thought it was okay. And they throw Batman in there, right? And I feel like Batman kind of had a tough time because you had the Christopher Nolan Batman movies, which were done so well, and how could you not compare any new Batman movies to that one? So you got this different Batman, and all of a sudden he's like buffed out, and he's got like the shorter ears on the cowl, and he's like, "Oh, Ben Affleck, I'm Batman."
I didn't even notice the shorter ears. But you know what though? I liked Ben Affleck better than Christian Bale.
I thought it was.
I like the Christopher Nolan movies better. I think they're much better. But I thought I liked Ben Affleck a little better than Christian Bale. I don't like Christian Bale in general. Don't like him.
I feel like it was a different Batman though. I like the Nolan Batman better, I think, but. There's no standalone Batman movie, right? They just throw him into this Batman vs Superman, and it's like, well, you know about Batman, so I guess he gets like a pass.
Yeah, but we don't know about your Batman.
Yeah, we don't know about this.
Look
Batman.
Look at Christopher Nolan. Think about all the Batman movies that existed before. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But when Christopher Nolan rebooted it, he started with Batman Begins, which was like, oh my god, it's just like an origin story of him like training and doing everything,
exactly.
right? And then The Dark Knight's finally the first kind of movie where he's just doing Batman stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, like the first movie, a good chunk of the movie is like him before he's even Batman. It's called Batman Begins. It's about how Batman begins. So then you have this Batman thrown in, and all of a sudden, you know, his story arc, if you will, is he's already to the point where he's fighting against Superman.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, whoa, how did we get here?
I need at least 3 movies before he's fighting Superman.
Yeah, you have the trilogy, and that's the finale. Oh, now he's fighting Superman. So you have...
And, like, hold on. Why isn't Superman is Superman in Justice League normally? I don't know anything about comics. Is he normally in the Justice League?
Normally he is.
Why isn't he in this movie?
Well,
they just made a Batman vs Superman movie.
You gotta watch Batman vs Superman.
I did.
To see how it all links together.
I did watch it, though.
Did you? Well, okay, heads up. If anybody hasn't seen it and they're listening, we're going to talk about how
Spoiler alert from
Spoiler alert, we're going to talk about how it ends. But at the end, Superman, and I'm doing air quotes here for you people listening because nobody can see us, Superman is dead, right? And it's like, how can you kill Superman? But
I don't even remember
he's dead.
How does he die?
He fights that.
Did I watch
this
this movie?
I'm starting to think you didn't watch the movie. I don't know what it is he fights. Ah, man, there's a name. This huge beast thing, like Manclaw or something.
Okay,
That's not the name.
We'll call him Manclaw.
We'll call him Manclaw. Okay, this is some Jon and Dan podcast canon here. Manclaw versus Superman, and I think he like stabs right through him with his giant Manclaw.
Jesus.
And he kills him, right? So Superman is dead now.
But can't he only be killed by kryptonite?
Yeah, but there's also some weird stuff where if he is not near the sun or something, or different colored suns affect his like power level or something like that. Anyway, so Superman, for all intents and purposes, is dead. So he's not in the Justice League, but he's Superman.
But he might be.
But he's gonna stay dead. Like, give me a break.
I know.
So you have Batman, and then you have Wonder Woman, who got her own movie.
Yeah.
Which was well done. I didn't really know much about Wonder Woman before I watched it.
I still haven't seen it, but I heard it was good.
I didn't really know much about Wonder Woman before I watched it, so it kind of covered her origin story as well. So I was like, oh, that's interesting. But I hadn't seen any of the comics or anything like that. So you got Wonder Woman, Batman, Superman, who's not in it because he's dead. The Flash, who is not getting his own movie. Or I don't know if he is, but at least not before.
I'm sure eventually he will.
Not before the Justice League movie.
No.
There is Green Lantern. I don't even know if he's in. I don't even think he's in Justice League. I think he is, like, canonically in
Green Lantern's going to be
League.
in Justice League movie?
No, I'm saying I don't think he's in the movie, but I do think that
think so
normally he's like in the Justice League if you watch like the animated cartoons and stuff. And who's the other one? Aquaman.
Yeah.
Which
that guy looks so cool.
Yeah. What's his name? Jason Momoa. I think.
He's in a TV show.
He was in Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones.
He was Khal Drogo in the first season of Game of Thrones, and he has this other TV show. I can't remember what it's called.
That guy just looks like a man.
Yeah,
you know?
he
is
tough,
a man. That guy.
Like most people get the role and they're like, "Hey, Ben Affleck, you want to play, Batman superhero role? You got to bulk up a little."
Yeah.
They go to Jason Momoa. They're like, "Hey, you want to play Aquaman?" He's like, "Sure." And they're like, "You got to slim down.
You got to tone it down a little bit.
You got to tone it down. Aquaman's not this buff."
Aquaman's usually wearing tights. He can't be looking so jacked. They need like, I don't know, Edward Norton or something like that to play Aquaman.
Yeah, it's a different
That's
take.
more of the physique.
Yeah, it's a different take on Aquaman. They're like, "Oh, we need this Aquaman to be a little slender. He's going to cut through the water. He swims really quick."
I know.
We don't have the water budget to fill the pool that much.
This Aquaman is not... I guess it wouldn't be aerodynamic. Water dynamic?
Aquadynamic?
Aquadynamic?
I don't know the term.
Guy. He looks cool though. I think it's a good idea.
Aquaman kind of gets shit on a little bit. It's like, oh, he's Aquaman, but like we already talked about Ant-Man. I mean, how can a guy who can control, all the fish and water and stuff not be cooler than a guy who controls ants? It's kind of ridiculous.
Like, yeah, that whole Ant-Man thing. Like when I first heard about it, I was like, what? He's gonna be the size of an ant? Oh yeah, but he, you know what? It still is stupid.
Oh, definitely.
How does he become an ant, but then still has the power of his normal human size?
Didn't you watch the movie?
Ants don't have that.
No, it's all explained, and it's by the power of the Pym particle from
give me a break.
Professor Pym. Or is it Mr. Pym? I think it's Professor Pym.
Well, probably Professor Pym. But that's so stupid.
Yeah, it's like this nuclear technology or military technology or something. I don't remember, but yeah. So he shrinks down to the size of an ant, but he like maintains the power of his full self relative to his body.
Ass. Well, I guess you know what? It's just a Marvel movie. They can do whatever they want. Thor is real. They're all stupid. When you think about it,
a hammer
right?
only he can lift.
They're all dumb.
You could just drop it on top of the bad guy.
Knocking on Ant-Man.
You could just put it on top of the bad guy and he'd never get up, right? If nobody else can lift it,
just plop it on him.
Yeah, but the Justice League, the movie looks interesting, but I don't know. Like we were saying before, with the Avengers, they set it up. Thor had his own couple movies. Iron Man had his own couple movies. Captain America had his own couple movies. Both Justice League, they did. Wonder Woman's got a movie.
That's it.
Yeah, which was just this year. And then Superman got 2 movies, but now he's dead.
Batman kind of had half a movie.
And Batman had like half a movie, partially in there.
Yeah.
So then there's some standalone Batman movie, but that's not coming until later. And then
but he may not be doing it anymore. That's what I thought I heard. He might not be doing the new Batman.
He was like, "Oh, I'll do it, but I don't want to direct it anymore." And then he was like, "I won't do it if the director we pick I don't like."
I feel like why wouldn't the studio like make him sign a contract? You have to sign on for 3 movies or something, you know?
I mean, Adam Sandler has multi-movie contracts with Netflix.
He just signed like another like 4 or 6, eh?
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
like on top of the 4 he signed originally.
Jeez.
I love Adam Sandler.
Oh,
I don't care what anybody says.
Could you imagine
those Netflix movies are awesome?
Could you imagine him as one of these superheroes? Which one would he be?
God.
We were just talking about Aquaman. He doesn't have a body for the water.
No. He doesn't.
That'd be like putting us in the Aquaman suit.
Jesus.
It's not gonna work.
I can't see him as any superhero.
Oh, you know what he's like? Have you seen Deadpool? He's like the friendly guy who will help, and he'd be like, "Oh, whoa, you're back in the shop? I got your gear here." But like he didn't. Now he's not the guy who creates the gear. He's not like the Alfred to the Batman.
No,
not the
he's
Alfred. What's Lucius Fox? That's the Morgan Freeman in the
Right.
in the Nolan Batman.
Yeah.
Right, he wouldn't be one of those.
He would just be like, the friend. Well, it's like what's that guy's name? He was in that show Silicon Valley. He's in Deadpool. You know what I'm talking about.
T.J. Miller.
Him.
Yeah, exactly.
the guy
He's like the friend.
That'd
He's
be
just
Adam
making fun of
Sandler.
how ugly Deadpool was.
Yeah.
He's like, "Oh, your face looks like a ugly rug."
He says something about his testicles or something like that.
Yeah, he's like, your face looks like if my testicle grew to the size of your head, or something like that.
That was a funny movie.
That was a funny movie.
I don't
Making
like
a sequel.
I don't like Ryan Reynolds.
I kind of agree.
It's the cool to good looking scale. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You
it's like
can't have
if
both.
you graphed it out, it's like a straight line going up, and it's like if you're on the one side where you're too cool. Well, actually, no.
Then
The
you're
cool
not
side of
funny.
the scale, you can just be infinitely cool, and it won't affect your looks.
No, I shouldn't say no. It's the good looking to funny scale. That's what it is. You can't be funny
Yes.
and good looking. You can either be one or the other.
It's
and
a line.
the funnier you are, the uglier you are. The better looking you are, the less funny. So if you're somewhere kind of right in the middle, that guy's kind of funny, then he's probably a little good looking too.
Yeah, he's
but Ryan
easily
Reynolds is
castable.
a very attractive man.
Like-
I can say that. I feel comfortable in saying that. He is. It is what it is.
Like, here's an example on the other end of the spectrum. Chris Farley. Man, the guy was hilarious.
And look
But
at him.
In a movie, you're gonna. It depends on the movie, but if you're want to put the movie posters out there, if you're going for the castable pick, you'd probably go for Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, exactly.
But if you're going for the laughs, I'm taking Chris Farley 100 out of 100 times.
And that's why I don't like Ryan Reynolds though. And it's like he's one of the 1 in 10s, right? You say 10 things that are funny and one of them is actually funny, but you say the other 9 things anyway.
Yeah,
You know?
Yeah, and I feel like he just kind of shows up to the shoot and he's like, "What if my character said this?" And they'd be like, "I don't know." And then he looks at them and he gives them a wink, and they're like, "Well, if you think so, Ryan, let's put it in there."
Yeah. You're probably spot on with that. Yeah, I don't know. I don't like him. Just don't.
Yeah, I feel like he's above that line, like you're saying. So he just kind of shows up, and he's just like, "I'm here."
It's just like the same person in every movie. I don't like that he does, but he does action movies, like serious action movies. Have you seen that one, Safe House, with
No.
Denzel Washington?
No, I haven't.
That's a good movie, actually. But he plays like this serious role. But then he goes and does like, I don't know.
Oh, he was in that movie with Jason Bateman. What was it? What's it
The
called?
Change Up.
The Change Up.
Yeah. I don't like Jason Bateman either.
This is a negative podcast.
I hate them all. No, he's okay, I guess.
He was all right. He was good on Arrested Development.
I
They
didn't
need to
watch
bring
it.
that show back.
They did on Netflix, didn't they?
Yeah, well, they brought it back for another season, but it was kind of weird because you can definitely tell everybody's schedules didn't line up. And they talked about this after the fact.
Oh.
So they would do scenes where it was just one person, right? Kind of talking. So, like, all the people's dialogue was, like, shot separately, for the most part anyway.
Okay, yeah.
And they had talked about, like, doing a movie or doing more another season. But it's kind of on hiatus, I guess, until they decide to bring it back.
Yeah. You know what movie I watched? I don't know, maybe a week or two ago? It. I don't know if I was telling you about this.
No, I don't do the spooky
Oh,
stuff.
yeah. You don't do the spooky stuff.
No, who wants to be scared? It sounds like a bad time.
But it's fun, though. I
guess.
It wasn't overly scary. It was just creepy, I think that's what it was. Like, the first scene in the movie, I'll tell you because you're not going to see it anyway.
Oh, no.
The first scene in the movie is like one of the boys that's in the movie. He's got a little younger brother. He's, I don't know, 5 or 6 years old. So the older brother helps the little boy build a little like paper boat,
Yeah.
Put some wax on it so it can flow, right? It's like pouring rain outside, so the kid runs outside, puts a boat in the water, he's following it. Anyway, it ends up, he hits his head off like a construction post, and then the boat goes into the sewer. So he goes, oh no, it's in the sewer. And out pops it. He's like still in the sewer. You like see him, he's like, hey, Georgie. Or whatever, the kid's name's Georgie, by the way.
And the clown just knew his name already?
Yeah.
That's bad news. I'm backing up from the sewer.
He's like a demonic clown. I'm gonna assume he knows the kid's name. So, hey Georgie, blah blah. Oh, and he's talking to him, and and he seems like a nice clown. Like, oh, everything's good, And then the kid's about to leave, and he's like, oh wait, don't you want your boat? So he's like, yeah, sure. So the kid reaches in, fucking it bites the kid's arm off.
Bites it off?
He bites the kid's arm off. I couldn't believe it. And the kid turns around, he's like, and he's missing half his goddamn arm.
Oh my goodness.
I couldn't believe it. I was like, holy shit. And then grabs the kid's leg and brings him into the sewer and eats him. I'm assuming he ate him. Because he's got like this big freaky mouth that he opens up. He's got like a million teeth in there. Holy Jesus.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like a fun time.
That was the beginning scene.
That doesn't sound like a fun time.
It was really weird. But did you know? Okay, so apparently like the book, I never read it, my mom did, but the book is like really kind of like messed up. So there's a scene at the end of this movie where the kids like they defeat it or whatever, and they kind of like do like a little like blood oath pact. So they cut their hands, and they hold hands or whatever, and that's that. Sorry. Who's telling me? Another one of our friends was telling me that he was like looking up what happened in the book, and in the book what happens is, so when they go into like the sewers or whatever, right, and they're in this like almost like a different world, but it's in the sewer, right, and they kind of defeat it there. In the book, they can't find their way back out, and so there's like 3, 4, 5 boys and then 1 girl. So in the book, the girl has sex with all of them.
Aren't these kids?
They're like 12 years old, like
Jesus.
10, 12 years old, 13, and she has sex with all of them. It's like an orgy of kids. Like
to get out of the sewer?
Yeah. Oh, no, they just do it. It's not to get out of the sewer. They just do it, I guess.
It's just thrown in there?
Like I said, I didn't read the book, so this might not be even true.
Jeez.
But apparently that's what happens.
And you gotta know that, like...
I didn't want to ask my mom if that's what happened. That's a weird conversation to have,
hey,
right?
Mom, at the end of the book...
Is there a child orgy in the end of the book? Like, no.
That's gotta be like pages and pages worth of this book, too, you're reading, and you're like, oh, when's this gonna end?
And little Johnny takes his little weenie and like, oh, God, I'm freaking out even talking about that. That's gross.
See, like I said, it sounds like a bad time. Obviously not in the movie, but I don't do the spooky stuff.
Yeah, thank God that wasn't in the movie. Yeah, like I said, it wasn't that, like, spooky. It wasn't all about the stuff popping out or anything like that. It was just like a creepy movie. But one thing I did like about it, and that I like about movies with kids in them, is when kids, like, swear at each other. Just kids swearing in general, or, like, talking shit to each other. Man, I find that so funny.
You know what makes me think of? Like, Rugrats. Back in the day, because the kids are talking, and you're like, nobody expects much from these kids. Yeah. I was talking to my brother yesterday, and he's only 12.
Yeah.
And I was like, have you ever seen Rugrats? He's like, no, what's that? And I'm
I
like,
guess I was
man, you haven't seen Rugrats? And I had to explain. It's like, Toy Story with the toys, where they talk to each other when nobody's around. It's like that with babies. They talk to them when nobody's ever around.
Yeah, that's a good show. Yeah, but the kids in this movie, anyway, they talk so much smack to each other, and one of the kids is in Stranger Things, the one on Netflix.
Oh, okay.
One of the kids is in this movie, and he's like the big shit talker, and but it's just they're like so vulgar with each other, and they're like 12, and like they'll be saying some stuff, and then like the kid will just be like, yeah, it's about the size of my dick, like it's all really? It fucking makes me laugh so much, like because we're probably saying stupid stuff like that at our age, at that age too, right? So it's like so funny to like just hear these kids like talking so much smack to each other like that. It's just hilarious. He's like talking about, the kid, there's one kid who like needs all his medication. And so the kid's like, what is that, your birth control? Like, oh fuck, that was so funny. Like,
definitely like a 2017 movie grafted onto this book from years ago.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I don't know, it was good. But the movie was good. It was a little long, but besides that, I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, the book is like...
Oh, yeah,
insanely long. I've seen it like walking by at the store, and it's like so thick you drop it and you feel the thud from a couple feet away.
Apparently that's what they say with like Stephen King though. He's got like like verbal diarrhea or like word diarrhea.
Describes in such detail, so you can only imagine the scene you're talking about earlier.
Oh, I know.
It's going on for pages, and you're like, oh, when's it gonna end?
The character in one of his books will walk into a room, and it'll be 4 or 5 pages just describing the room. And a cool
that's
breeze
too much.
comes. Yeah, like it's insane. My mom, she reads all these books, and she says like, because she finishes like they're like 800-page books, and she finishes them within like 4 days. As long as she's reading all day, like she works, comes home. And I was like, how do you get through that? She's like, a lot of it you can just skim through because it's him just going on and on about the same shit over and over.
At that point, it almost feels like he wanted to make movies, but he's just like, I'll just make them in words.
Yeah, I know.
That's too much. Like if I'm reading a book and it starts to describe the level of dust you can find in the area, that's too much detail.
Yeah. I know what
That's
you mean.
too much. I feel like when it comes to stories, whether they're in video games or movies or even TV shows, it's like, does this carry on the plot? Is it teaching me about the characters? Like, is the character going to go wipe up all that dust that was on that creaky old table? No, then why do I really need to know what's there?
Does this dust serve a purpose to the rest of the story?
Exactly. Is it just painting the picture in my head? He was in a dusty room, and then he walks, to the next room, and now we go 4 more pages to describe this old dusty room.
It is a little much. I agree. Oh, speaking of Stephen King, so we decided to throw on a movie last night, at home. And my mom's like, oh, there's this movie. It just came out on Netflix called Gerald's Game. That's this movie called.
I was on Netflix, and I saw it on there, but I didn't watch it. And I remember seeing the little poster. It's like a guy and a woman like laying on a bed, and she's got handcuffs or something. And then I was reading the description.
Yeah,
It
do
said
you know what it's about?
Stephen King, and I was like, I wasn't expecting that to be Stephen King.
Yeah, it's another one of his books he wrote. And so, like, the whole idea of the book is they go away to this cottage or, like, a beach house type thing and, I guess, like, spice up their sex life. He brings handcuffs and handcuffs her to the bed and then has a heart attack and dies.
Oh, jeez.
And she's stuck to the bed. So, like, man, I'm watching, like, we got through maybe about a half hour, and that was about it. I was like, okay, turn this off. I can't do this anymore. I was feeling, like, claustrophobic, man. I was, like, starting to, like, tense up a little bit. I was like, Jesus Christ, I couldn't imagine being, like, stuck to this. The movie was a little weird. At one point, like, because they leave the front door open. So the guy's a heart attack, so she ends up kind of, like, kicking him off the bed to the end. And the stray dog comes in and starts eating him. Like,
oh, my
eats
goodness.
a piece of his arm. And I was like, Jesus Christ, I
Man,
can't.
this Stephen King...
He's something else.
He's
And
best,
this
man.
is the movie, so it's probably toned down from what the book actually
Yeah, the
is.
book, you got 10 pages of the chewing on the arm.
Yeah, probably.
And then the dog walked in. There was no dust to be found, and he chewed.
Flesh between his teeth.
Ugh,
Yeah, it's pretty.
that's
pretty
rough.
nasty
So you didn't
stuff.
watch the whole thing?
No, didn't watch the whole thing. We went back and watched Moana. It's a great movie.
I've never seen
I
it,
probably
but
watched
that
it
seems
30,
like a nice
30 or
pick-me-up.
40 times I've watched it.
That seems like a nice pick-me-up.
It was. See the light in the sky meets the sea.
Oh, we're going to get copyright strikes, Dan.
Yeah, you're right. That's a good movie, though. You should watch it.
I've
All
never,
jokes aside, great movie.
like how you said you bailed out half an hour into the movie. I've never really been one for cutting away from something halfway into it. One of the guys I know that I work with told me a story where he used to watch The Walking Dead. And he watched The Walking Dead, and I've never seen it, but based on the story he told me, one character got mobbed down by all these zombies, and you're like, well, that guy just got mobbed down by 30 zombies. He's dead. And then the character kind of got back up, and you're like, how the hell is this guy still alive? And this guy, he didn't wait, and he wasn't like, it's starting to get a little shitty. I'm going to wait for the end of the season, and I probably won't watch anymore. No, he didn't do that. He didn't even go, I'm going to wait till the end of the episode. And, I really think I'm done with this show. He didn't even go wait for a commercial break and go like, you know what, I'm done. The second the guy got up and he was alive, he's like, screw this. Changed it off The Walking
And
Dead.
this is what, like 5 seasons into the show?
This was like 4 or 5 seasons into the show, and he
God.
never went back. And
That's
I'm like,
crazy.
And I'm like, how do you not even wait till the commercial break?
Yeah, not like movies, it's whatever. But like a TV show, if I've invested my time into like 4 or 5 episodes, goddamn, I at least have to finish that season. Like I watched that 13 Reasons Why on Netflix. Oh man, and like, so the first episode was whatever, second episode whatever, and it just dragged on, and the show was like so stupid and lame, and like this would never happen. This would never happen. And like not even the part of, because the whole show's about her killing herself, right? And then she sends out these tapes. Not even that part I'm talking about. That's like, it's just everything else that happens in that high school is so unrealistic. There's a scene in that show, I'm getting a little sidetracked. There's a scene in that show where like this kid Clay, who now has the tapes, he's like the star of the show, I guess. He's a little bitch, this kid. But so he's like, He's got these tapes, and he's like threatening to like expose these tapes. So like the cool kids at the school are they're like, oh yeah, we gotta stop him. We gotta put an end to that. So he's riding his bike, and they pick him up in their car, right? They're like, get in the car, Clay. He's like, whoa, what? They're get in the car. So they put his bike in the trunk, and he gets into the car with them. So there's like 2 guys in the front seat, Clay, and then another guy in the back seat. And so the guy that's driving, he starts driving fast. And they're like, yeah, see, this is what's gonna happen, man. You better watch out, you better watch out. Like, oh, he's just driving fast. What's the big issue? I don't get it.
Just going for a quick cruise up the street.
You better watch. This is what's gonna happen. We're gonna drive really fast if you release those tapes. Like, it's so stupid. And then the guy like gets a little, because then the guy driving's a little nuts, and they're all like, all right, Alex, that's enough, man. Slow down, Alex. Come on, Alex, that's enough. It's like, oh yeah, you know what? If you release those tapes, then we're all just gonna die in this car. Like, what? Ah, man, it just, goddamn.
One of those words.
The show's so frustrating at times.
It goes past the, I can't remember the term. Your, I can't remember what the term is called. Like your, suspension of disbelief. That's what it is.
Yeah, okay.
Where you're like, okay, like some movies can pull off. You're like, okay, this guy can shrink down to the size of an ant due to the power of the Pym particle. Yeah, okay, well,
I'll buy it.
I'll buy it.
But
because it's almost, set in the real world, so it's more realistic, and you're just like, oh, give me a break. One of the things that really stands out for that is when shows have bad dialogue. Like, the old thing is when people pick up the phone and they don't say hello. Like, you pick up the phone and the person who called is like, I'm calling about this. And it's like, I didn't even say hello.
Yeah.
The only time that happens now is, you've won a free cruise. And you hang up right away.
Yeah, and like, I'm going to go back to this show for a second. I don't even know what my original point was. Now I'm just ranting about this show. And like...
sticking with shows even when you're not sure and you think, could be better use of my time.
I'm going to rant a little more here. So, this kid in this show, Clay, like, oh my God, he's like this like little moral goddess. Like, he's so frustrating to like watch. It's so annoying. Like, everything he does, he's like, oh, I can't believe... Because, okay, so the whole thing is like the tapes. Each tape is designated for somebody at the school, and they're part of the reason why she killed herself. So he hears all these tapes of all these people. Oh my God, I can't believe that person did that. I can't believe that person did that. And it's like, like, goddamn, it wasn't that bad of stuff at first. I mean, it got pretty bad at the end. There was like some rape stuff.
Oh Jesus.
Yeah, that was.
Jesus.
Oh, I was like, okay, this is getting a little more, not realistic, but like shitty. And but yeah, God, like some of it was so stupid. Like, some of the people at the school made a list and said she had the nicest ass. Oh no! Like, what? It's like so stupid. Like, I don't know, man. I was like, well, it's a compliment, if anything. A little, it's a compliment. If she doesn't want that, it's like, whatever.
As someone who's never been told anything about the nicest of my ass,
I've never been told I have the nicest ass.
We're talking from a side we don't know.
I guess you're right. I don't know. The show just bothered me.
Yeah.
The point is, I finished it out because I was at 5 episodes in, and it didn't get any better, but I was like, I gotta finish. I gotta see what happens at the end, and the end was whatever. I should have just stopped after 5 episodes.
I hear you, man. Like, the story of the guy I work with bailing out after 4 or 5 seasons, you're like, man, but you've invested so much time. How can you just make that snap judgment, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like there's so much quality stuff out there. Whether it's, like video games or books or movies or TV shows. It's like this stuff is competing for your time, right? It's on Netflix. It's free, right? As part of the Netflix catalog. Obviously, you pay like $8 a month or $10 a month or whatever it is. But it's competing for your time. There's so much good stuff already on Netflix.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, there's so much out there. And with the Netflix thing, too, right? Like, most of the shows, anyway, it all just comes out at once. And I think, like, okay, think about, like, shows that are on TV. You watch it week to week, right? So you watch one episode, 1 week, and so on. If you get a bad episode here or there, it's almost not as noticeable.
On Netflix?
No. On actual TV. Because you're watching it week to week, right? So you watch it 1 week. Oh, great episode. Watch it next week. Oh, this one was okay. And then you almost forget that the last week's episode wasn't that great. So you go into the next week's one. Let's say that one's not that great. You kind of say it again. That was not that great. With Netflix, though, since you can just binge it, if you get 2 bad episodes in a row, see ya, I'm out.
You can do that. I agree, but I also think it actually is kind of the opposite, where when you watch a show week to week, if you have a bad episode, you've got a week to stew on that, and you go, oh man, last week's episode was kind of a stinker. Like, I really hope they pick it up. Whereas on Netflix, if you have a bad episode sandwiched between two good episodes, you're like, oh, great episode. Oh, that one was kind of bad. Oh, let's see what happens. Oh, that one was good. And then it's like the little shit sandwich kind of gets smushed away and you forget about it. Right? So I think it all depends. If you have two back-to-back, I think you get hit harder on Netflix when you're just binging through.
Yeah, okay.
Whereas week to week, you do get that chance to forget. So I guess it sort of depends on the quality of the show.
Yeah.
Right, like some shows like Game of Thrones, right? It's like a big show, everybody's talking about it, so you have a whole week to sort of stew on and be like,
that's true.
Oh, I think this is going to happen. I think that's going to happen.
I guess I'm not thinking like shows like that. I'm thinking of like Lethal Weapon on Global, you know? Like, that's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah, those shows I don't think they fetch much on the Netflix catalog.
No, I don't think so.
When I boot up Netflix and I see on the front page ad Murdoch Mysteries,
yeah,
there goes
thank you.
There goes my monthly subscription.
Oh dear God, Murdoch Mysteries. You know what? Like, so that channel FX.
Yeah.
So like during the day, because I'm off on Tuesdays. So during the day, they have like a really great lineup of shows. They have like Simpsons, Modern Family, which is actually a really funny show, and Two Broke Girls, which wasn't that good, but whatever. So they do like 2 episodes of each over and over and over. So a lot of times I'd be watching it and I'd fall asleep. But at 6 o'clock, Murdoch Mysteries be on. So that's
during the day?
This is during the day. So that's what I wake up to is Murdoch Mysteries, and it was so depressing to wake
right back
up
to bed.
Oh my God, it's like, you know what? Like the Canadian shows are just brutal. Like for the most part, like
it is tough. It is tough.
Yeah.
Like they're trying to. Like, you know, there's people out there who love it. They watch Murdoch Mystery each week, and they're like, yes, Murdoch.
Like,
get that guy.
Whose favorite channel is CBC?
Damn, listening back to that, I can't believe how spoiled our listeners are. 20 quality weeks of that type of content?
Yeah. Thanks for, like, the 5 people that are probably still sticking around to hear us here at the end. Because that was probably pretty tough to get through. But, like, keep in mind, that was our first one, you know?
Yeah, you know, we were just figuring things out. And as you can see, you know, about 20 weeks later, we're definitely way better.
Or maybe we've gotten worse. Maybe people are like, oh, man, I wish we could just hear more of that.
Maybe. Well, you know what? Write in and tell us what you think.
Send us an email.
Yeah.
At ScruffCast@gmail.com.
Or follow us on Twitter @ScruffCast.
Or YouTube us. Leave a comment.
If you're listening on YouTube right now, hit that thumb up button.
Thumb up button.
Hit that thumb up button, bro. And leave a comment and say, I hit the thumb up button. The 37th person to leave a comment saying they hit the thumb up button will win a prize.
What's the prize?
It's a mystery. I gotta find out.
Maybe some ScruffCast merch?
Well, you see how great the surprises we tease are after that brilliant 8-month-old episode.
Yeah. People know our surprises are top notch.
Top tier surprise.
That's right. All right. Well, I think that is it for this episode. A little bit of the now and a little bit of the past. You know?
I know. And now the listeners know too.
That's right. All right. Well, thanks for listening, everybody. That's it for this week. We will catch you next week. See ya. As I'm watching her go, all I'm thinking is, oh damn, that bad thing. I can tell you're really good at distracting.